Hi here, this is Mickey Crockett here, and welcome to the Morning Mallet. This is a new show here on Metatrekica, and we were going to talk about just any kind of topical reference here on this podcast, and it's the first podcast ever for Metatrekica here. Here is my co-host, Ricky Duster. Yeah, my name's Ricky Duster. I'm very proud to be on the show, and it's the first ever inaugural show. It's great. Hi, Mickey Crockett. How's it going? Oh, it's doing great, man. It's really doing some good stuff here, man. Uh, so on the show here, our first guest here, we got Doc Matty. He's the man, a man of Metrica here. Here he is. Here he is.
Oh, hey guys. Hey, chill, daddy-os. Good to see your first podcast up and going. We were kind of thinking about, see, we try to have a little bit of every kind of genre here on Metrica. We have a VTuber, we got a Call of Duty person, we got retro game enthusiast, a VTuber, and we got IRL, and so I thought to myself, Daddy-O. You know what we don't got? We need Daddy-O. Yeah, that's right. That's right. We need a podcast. That's right, Daddy-O. Something kind of like, old school radio, you know, uh, like Howard Stern or, well, maybe, well, that might be too controversial, but so something, something that YouTube can digest without destroying us. But Mickey and Ricky, Mickey and Ricky. Uh, tell me about yourself.
Yeah, my name's Ricky Duster, and I didn't exist about a minute ago. Uh,
Well, that Daddy-O is some good old honesty. That's not something you see every day. Yeah, Lily Ricky's pretty much admitting he didn't he didn't exist a minute ago. Well, Daddy-O, he's here on Metric freshly signed. So tell me about yourself, Mickey Crockett, and
well, yes, sir. My name's Mickey Crockett, and um, I have no awareness of my past. it's
it's kind of like you didn't exist a minute ago.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like all of a sudden I'm here doing this show. I, uh, uh, Mickey, I think I got existence issues. I think we got, I think we gotta talk. Oh, wait, you're right. Well, like, who are my parents? I don't know what my parents are.
Oh, Daddy-O. Now you're getting dark here. Now, your two characters, you didn't exist before, but you just got to pretend like you always have. That's the way it works on the Satterground universe. You can't.
I can't remember what school I went to. Ah! Oh no! Oh no! I can't remember anything. What's my first date?
Daddy-O. Oh boy. Look, I'm your guest. I feel like I'm the host of the show. Okay? Why didn't you ask me some questions? It's just some good hard questions. Daddy-O, it's me, Doc Matty, not Dark Matty. Doc Matty, just ask some questions.
Uh, Mickey, you got something? I'm still. Oh, it's like I didn't exist before. Now I'm trying to kind of contemplate everything. Yeah, man. Ricky, this is tough. Okay, Doc, Maddie, tell me about yourself.
what made you to create Mecha Trek? Well, Daddy-o, what happened was the Connect really sucked. I'm not going to really tell you about my real name, but I had this idea that you were going to use your body and all that, and you were going to just jump up and down at your TV, and that was going to be the future of the Xbox, and
Oh, that's really interesting. Uh, but what's the point? Isn't it more common sense just to have a controller in a box?
well, Daddy-o, Daddy-o, it's always about breaking those common barriers, Daddy-o. Imagine a console that is entirely voice controlled instead of just using your hands.
That doesn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, first off, I have a hard day at work. I don't really feel like saying Xbox go left, Xbox go right. I'm just going to take my little finger here and uh, put it on the D-pad and go left, go right.
Daddy-o! Oh, you two are so lame, lamos. Fortunately, the majority of consumers kind of all said the same thing, and we almost got in trouble with Bill Gates there. Oh, I got you a complimentary Diet Pepsi here. Hold on. Daddy-o. I mean, it's just it was a concept, But so yeah, so that didn't work out. Then I went to Facebook as some video game company. And it just like failed and stuff.
Well, that's a really terrible idea you came up with.
Daddy-o. Oh yeah, it wasn't very good. So then I started, I noticed there was a company called Machinima, and they were just like buying up all these YouTubers and stuff, and they would just like put up their videos all on their YouTube channel. And I came up with the same premise with Metro Trek guy, basically, and became Doc Matty. Doc Matty, And but then of course then apparently I realized I'm actually in a computer matrix known as the Saturn universe. I'm not actually me. I thought I was, and then I've been having existential crises of my own. I guess you could say, Daddy-o.
Uh, Wait, you're not really. Wait, Ricky, Mikey, help us! What's going on? Uh, I don't know. I've always been Mickey Crockett. I, I don't know.
Well, Daddy-o, that's the normal entrance exam of entering the Saturn universe is having an existential crisis. Usually the way we usually like hear here is we usually have a common theme. Like for example, Wooly Anderson, he just plays Call of Duty World War II.
But I thought that game sucked. I thought that a lot of the Call of Duty people didn't like it.
Well, Daddy-o, we here at Saturn well, the Saturn universe, I'll let you know, Metro Trek isn't like those our yahoos.
Those guys have been around a long time.
Yeah, Daddy-o, but nobody goes to their channel. Everyone comes over here. We're the cool cats and we're cool chill kids. The cool cats, cool chill. That sounds like something out of like one of those black and white movies. Like hipster real things and well, Daddy-o, yeah. So Daddy-o, so basically, yeah. So people over here, Metrica, we have our thing. So the problem with you two guys is you're just a podcast. So you just talk about things in the outside world because the Saturn universe, well, we can't really talk about our inside issues unless it's a storyline. So it's a storyline. We might not be really allowed to talk about things because it kind of exposes storylines, and we can't really do that.
Yeah, well, I don't understand. I just don't understand.
Uh, well, first off, is you need most channels have a hobby. Like the world's oldest gamer just plays Atari games. Now, personally, I think that's a bleak existence. I mean, a lot of those games are so basic, but I think what it is there's a part of us that understands, at one point in time, this is the beginnings of the gaming industry, and this is basically, like, it'd be like a paleontologist being in love with dinosaurs. It's like, yeah, it's very primitive stuff, but it's like what if you're all into that kind of stuff. I kind of like debate that. What you mean, Daddy? Well, I mean, there wasn't ever really dinosaurs, like a lot of those like bones and stuff, like they were saying like, oh, it's this dinosaur, that dinosaur, and then years later they find out that actually the bones don't really match with the dinosaurs that they claimed that the dinosaur was. Oh boy, this first episode is definitely about existential crises, but apparently we're getting into crises outside the Center Ground universe. Well, no, it's just the dishonest truth. Like, I mean, yeah, those bones are pretty cool, but just saying, that you do understand that, right? That in the 1800s, when they were coming up with like the Triceratops, they would go in the museums and they would put together these like dinosaurs with the bones, and then they would find out later on that actually that the bones were incorrect, that it was like different animals and stuff, and it wasn't. I mean, it's not to say there wasn't big dinosaurs, but it's just, what I mean, it's just kind of, I wouldn't like put my career in something like that because you're not entirely sure. I mean, yeah, it's big bones, but well, did well, is this gonna be a conspiracy podcast? Um, I don't know. Are we allowed to do that on YouTube? Did YouTube, is a weird creature. Although lately it seems like since they've gone under such weird management changes, it's kind of like we might be entering another gray period where we're just kind of daddy-o kind of allowed to kind of talk about what we want again, or maybe not. I would I would I wouldn't put the channel up on that creaky bridge, to jump up and down on to test it. So I kind of would be careful with you. I would be a little careful. The era of Susan is over. That's all gone. Sorry to see someone passed away, uh, but yeah, Daddy-o, we're in a different era, and is I don't really trust anything on the internet anymore as far as security. so so I gotta say, it's my show and all, and oh, Daddy-o, ask the questions. Well, yeah, I mean, so has been any struggles with Metro Trucka? Well, Daddy-o, it's trying to find the right kind of talent. Try to be inspired enough to get them to work on their content. It's a real problem. I think they all have ADHD to a certain level, so it's very difficult, because they don't really see the fruits of the labor of it all. We don't allow comments. We don't. It's just because of the way YouTube is, like, and a lot of bots nowadays. There's a lot of bots, then they could just say the most strangest things into your comments, like stuff that's like kind of borderline illegal, and some probably depending on the country. But then we just kind of shut off comments because it's just for the safety of the viewers and stuff. But I guess we try to be a little friendly there, but for the most part, we kind of allow our video makers to just kind of go wild, and try to take things back to the ways old edge lord YouTube used to be to a certain degree, I guess. As long as people aren't saying anything racist. Well, Daddy-o, that's enough. I think I'm gonna let you two kind of explore this, because I don't really feel like answering any more questions. Thanks, Oh, it was great having you on, Doc, man. Oh, it's great having you on, man. I'll see you later. So, it's kind of like I haven't done this in a while. Uh, um, Ricky, I've never met you before. Uh, I've never met you before either. I just know that all of a sudden I'm in a recording studio. Yeah, that's really scary. But for some reason, I have this blue card here. Oh, well, maybe you should go pick it up and read it. I mean, we've only gone 15 minutes in. I think podcasts are usually an hour. Oh yeah. It says here, talk about Ice Poseidon's Hunger Games that he just did on Kick.com. Well, that's interesting, and it's funny. It seems like in my head I have a whole thing going on. It's like, well, did you actually see it? Did you actually see it and stuff? Um, apparently I did. Okay, that's something different. Um, yeah, this existential crisis we're in, it's really weird. Yeah, it's really weird. I think we'll just go with this. Yeah, I got things coming up in my head too. It's kind of like somebody's writing stuff in my head. Yeah, me too. Um, yeah. So this Ice Poseidon guy. Wow, this is really weird. I'm going with this. It's like someone has just typed a whole script in my head. Um, yeah. So Ice Poseidon, he did this Hunger Games experiment out on a ranch with like 40 contestants and some staff members that he calls hunters. And he yeah, so typically when Ice Poseidon does like big events like this, Ricky, he usually really it's really scuffed. It's very scuffed. And a lot of times what it is he even though he's got a lot of money now, from the contract he got with Kick and stuff. And so you think on top of your head he would get some event managers, some people with experience and doing organized organized things like this. And instead he just kind of took it all upon himself with his personal friends, and that was not a good idea. I at least congratulate him for at least having an ambulance to at least try to have some things that, in case someone were to get really hurt, because you have people, what it is once a person gets out on the field as a contestant, they have to it's basically a survivalist kind of ordeal. And what it is they get vests that will tell you the amount of damage they take. Um, they'll get they'll get like weapons, they'll get like paintball guns and stuff. But the vests were scuffed. The vests would literally, no joke, that a person would be walking. Um, any branches that would kind of like tap against the vest, it would create damage. Some people's vests wouldn't even record damage at all, and some people would be down to zero before they knew it, even though no one had touched them. So it was a really scuffed event. And and at first it was actually pretty good content, because you had like, it looked like a medieval battle sometimes, and you had these guys called the Goon Squad. They were like the ones that were initiating a lot of the brawls and trying to get rid of people and stuff. But again, the vests, there would be issues like people would turn them off. They'd be turning the vests off. They would be all kinds of cheating going on, and there was even people who were clearly eliminated but then eh, they they would be allowed back into the game, like the people who run it, like Ice Poseidon, they would just pretend like he didn't get eliminated or something because the vest didn't really mark down that he got hurt, he got damaged. The vest itself didn't mark any kind of damage. So, and then, um, so then, eventually what happened was it was just the vests were getting too scuffed. They were just, he had to give up. He had to actually like give them all like white T-shirts, and then from there they would switch entirely to paintball guns. Now understand, they were doing this event in Texas in the middle of summer with like over 100-degree weather every day. So what was happening is the paintball guns were jamming. They were the paintballs would melt, and then they would jam up inside the gun, ruining the gun. And understand, if you're trying to survive in a competition like this, it's literally a game over type of scenario. So then by the end of the competition, once he had the last 10 people, he had to the biggest problem is he had to constantly change the circle where they were um, fighting, because there was just people not fighting. They just sit in their little groups, just sit there and not do anything. It was really kind of crazy, and that was kind of the only way to kind of like convince them to be in close range to an enemy team and actually battle each other. So then finally, they get the final 10. They went back to vests. So yeah, there were some people who had paintball guns left over from the previous rounds and different cycles of the contest. They could carry whatever weapons they still had with them. And and then basically you get to like, what would happen is most of the people getting eliminated is they would get eliminated not because they got hit 20 times. They had a health of 20 within the final round. That isn't what would eliminate a lot of them. It would because they got hit so hard that it would actually make the vest disconnect. So you could have had 20 health points, and if that thing gets hit hard enough, one hit, it's like you have zero health and you're out. So you had people getting kicked out left and right because of that. So the finale, the thing is with Ice Poseidon, his events are always fairly controversial because they're not unbiased. Throughout the competition, he's constantly jumping back and forth about, he'll say, I support this person, this person. That's not how you run an event. That's why people say your events are rigged, because you're constantly during these events saying, well, you side with this person, that person, this person. And after a while, you do see a trend, but the thing I've noticed is you can tell who he really wants to win. And if that person doesn't win, he tries to essentially give him the person he thought, should have won. The best kind of way to say it is, imagine if there was a pro wrestling event and the guy who wasn't supposed to win accidentally got the pin and he's now the world champion, but then they just make another belt and they give it to the other guy and say, well, you're also world champion, and the other guy's kind of like he's not the real thing. That's essentially what Ice Poseidon does. He What happened was there was a guy called what's his I'm trying to figure out how to say his name. It's not Eli, it's like Elias or something like that. Kind of like Isaiah or something. And what happened was this guy actually was what they said initially. He was the winner of the $100,000, number one. He came in number one, and he beat the the Korean. I think his name is Taemin or something, a guy from Korea. And and here's the thing about it. So the Korean comes in second. He gets like 50K and like a sponsorship and stuff. And but then all of a sudden, a couple like maybe two hours later and stuff, the Ice Poseidon comes back. He doesn't go live. He announces it on another person's stream, and he announces that basically that actually the guy who was in second place is now the main winner because of inaccurate information with the vests. So once again, here we are again. We with Ice Poseidon, we're dealing with more conspiracies, more controversies. That the guy just can't have a clean event. I mean, one of the things he said during the event is like, "How am I supposed to rig it? It's like a paintball competition. How am I supposed to do that?" Well, when it comes to those vests, actually, you can rig it. But the white shirts, he gave everyone white shirts for the paintball segment. That you can't fake. You can't fake that because if it's a 24-hour stream, everyone's going to see who's marked up, who's not marked up. So that's clean. That's a clean part of the contest. The part is when you have these vests, you can go, it's on a separate web server, so you can just go in and you can change it to whatever you want, really. So he had instead what happened was is that that the what was it, like Elias or something. He had like 1 point left of health, and then the Korean he had like 20 because he kind of I don't I again it's always some kind of controversy like during the final 10. The final 10 is like a battle royal. They're all like hitting each other with like swords and shields. And what went wrong is this kid, he wasn't fighting. He hid. He was a little guy, and so he hid in the grass. And eventually, when it was the final three, you know, the guy who came in second and third, they're looking around for this guy. They're like, where did he go? And it's only until they see this like lump in the dirt, and they just go up to him, and then that's when he ran at him, and it's like kind of weird. It's kind of cowardly because it's sort of like that I don't know. It's strange. But then it would be one thing. Like I have no problem about the Korean coming in second, because that's what they announced. They said, well, but then they said later, oh no, they confused it. That actually the Elias he only had like one health point left, and so he was his actually at some point his like vest deactivated or something, and he was actually gone before that all happened or something. The whole thing was so scuffed to the point that I'm not even entirely sure who the top three were. Like EBZ, I think might even at one point they were saying he came in third. So I don't know. The whole thing was so bad at the end that it's like once again here we are. We can't even have a clean event with this guy because he's he's so narcissist. He doesn't want to bring in somebody to just manage this stuff, in a very fair way. So then you get these scuffed events, and it makes Kick look bad. And of course, Kick is a censorship platform. It's probably as bad as Twitch, if not worse. And it's a website where it's rules for you, but not rules for me. And like there's Kick staff that are fairly racist, but then but then the streamers, like say Carl, for example, if he says any n word, says any n word at all, they'll give him like an 8-day ban, and they'll call him all kinds of names and stuff. But during the actual Ace Poseidon games, there were many streamers saying that word. There were many streamers saying racist and transphobic things, and that's the hypocrisy of that whole website. That they choose who their own is. That they turn. There's been a lot of people coming out about that website. Because they're a good moral site, right? Like for example, they teach kids to gamble. They teach kids to develop a gambling addiction, and that's isn't that great, huh? Yeah, it's a terrible site. So yeah, so you would wonder, well, what's Kick doing now? Well, basically they're trying to. Well, if Twitch got kind of kicked out of. They got kicked out of Korea, the Korean market. So that's a huge loss for them. But now Kick is trying to get in there. Well, if you think about it, that makes sense to have a Korean team win a Ice Poseidon event. Apparently also they're going to have Fuzi and Ice Poseidon doing a trip to Korea and stuff, and it's you can see the politics here. You could see that they purposely changed the ending of the contest to have the Korean win. It's not to say that the Korean didn't deserve it, but I mean, you can obviously see the agenda there. Well, well, Ricky, that was a mouthful. Yeah, that was a mouthful. Like I said, I don't have I guess I have like full knowledge of watching the event, even though apparently I didn't exist like a half hour ago. I don't understand that. I know it's an existential crisis. Well, I guess we'll have to figure out, what we're gonna do, with the show. I guess, we can't guarantee we'll be on all the time, but yeah, we're called the Morning Mallet, and yeah, yeah, we talked to that Doc Matty guy. That was kind of interesting. He's a weird one, yeah, he definitely is a weird one. Well, I think we're kind of done. I think we're kind of tired talking. And, we had a topic and stuff being the Ice Poseidon. I don't really think there's anything else on our minds right now. So, well, that's all for the show for now. Just a little short introductory show, and maybe there'll be bigger shows in the future. Well, see you then.
About Sataringrad Production. Welcome to Sataringrad Productions. We specialize in spiritual books, comic books and old public domain books that have long been forgotten. We also have done artwork for war history books and fiction-based works. We recommend our Ethiopic Holy Bible Volume 1 that is quite popular and attempts to bring the Book of Enoch back into the Bible's list of books. The Ethiopic Holy Bible Volume 1 also has a few selections from Josephus, a Jewish historian, and also the book has Jubilee and the Apocrypha, which is also available in Catholic Bibles. Frater S.H. is an esoteric researcher who is out to reveal ancient knowledge, both known and forbidden. Creator SH has appeared on Joshua P. Warren's Speaking of Strange, Kevin Smith's show, UFO Show, and Ghost Chronicles International with Ron Clerk and Richard Felix, the historian from Most Haunted on the Travel Channel.